What's up, guys? Welcome back to another vid. Roseby Riders. I'm gonna do another tire review. Gotten some requests to do one on these Super ATV Terminators I've been running for about a year, so let's get into her. Before I'll get into the review, I'll just mention I've had some issues getting footage off of my phone and other cameras. I'm still using the old iMovie 7. I really probably got to switch to just some sort of different editing software, but I just don't have the time to put in to learn all that. I want to get the video out to you guys, so it is what it is. It's a struggle. The only stuff that seems to work is my GoPro, so that'll pretty much be all the footage in this video, but I'll do the best with what I got.
There we go.
First off, I'll just start with some background on the machine. It's a 2018 XMR 570, CVTech primary, SDM secondary, HMF exhaust, RJWC fuel tuner. I have had these tires in a 29.5 as well in the past, but most of the stuff I'll talk about is the 32 because that's really the size you want to go for with these tires. They're quite a bit different as they vary in sizes. I also have the most seat time on the 32s, so that's going to give the most information for the review.
Get myself a little bit muddy at least.
Something I should also mention is some of the tires I've owned in the past. Quick list would be Mudbug, Mudlight, Swamp Light, Silverback, Outlaw, Mega Man, Mudzilla, Black Mamba, Sledgehammers, these Terminators. That'd be most of them I've had. So I guess just to start, get the easy stuff out of the way, trail riding, wear, it's all been really good. You got a nice flat profile, and the lug spacing is close together, so you don't really get that like chatter at slow speeds down the roads and trails and whatnot. They wear really well. I've had them for about a year, put lots of K on them, and they've showed pretty much no wear at all. So that's definitely a good plus. As far as durability goes, these ones have been really good, the 32s. I haven't had any flats with them at all. The one tire has a crack in it, just from sitting in the sun, so it leaks like the air out over a week, no big deal. But I haven't ever popped the bead off the rims or had any flats, plugs, nothing with the 32s. The 29.5s on the other end were terrible. Those ones I had, like just about every tire I had flat. I think I had 4 flats with them total. Well, I had them, multiple plugs, and then the beads on them were really weak. I think the carcass was just so soft and it flexed so much. And then I had one actually get so bad that it blew off the back side of the rim, and it was pretty much unparable. It actually stretched the bead out, so the tires were pretty much scrapped, and then I moved to the 32 after that. So let's get into the mud. I'm sure that's why anybody watching this is probably here. How do these things do in mud? They're a mud tire. So I guess to start, the guy rides pretty much all types of conditions. Lots of swamps, clay mud, muskeg, whatever. We've pretty much got it all out here in Alberta. So one thing they do really good in to say is watery clay mud like this, when you have like a hard surface underneath. Having so much lugs around the tire closer together, you have more biting edges, more surfaces to grab and pull you through. Where they impress me most is the ability to climb out of holes. Like I've said, having so many lugs, every time one of them touches the ground, that's going to be a new chance for the tire to bite, pull you out. Basically any type of mud that you would consider kind of loose and watery, they do pretty good in. Obviously their main struggle is the ability to clean out. I'm sure you've heard a million times from other people that's definitely their weakness, but as long as you got some water to kind of wash away the mud, they do really good and stuff like that. Anything with roots, every one of those lugs is going to have a chance to grab and pull. Obviously out here in Alberta we ride a lot of muskeg, marshy stuff like this, kind of floating mat on top. That's another area that I think these do really well. I like to think of it as kind of fingers on your hand, trying to grab and pull, stay on top, rather than cupping your hand and trying to scoop through it. You don't want to cut and slice through. So far, I found them to be a great tire in muskeg at a slow crawl and full speed. Having a flat profile will have less ground pressure and distribute the weight more evenly, helping it float and stay on top of muskeg, as well as put more traction down on harder surfaces. Another point to touch on is that the tread design does pretty well just as good in reverse. In mud holes like this, where it's kind of a bottomless, mushy swamp, I find they don't do so good because they don't have that long, swiping, cupping lug to them, that big, large surface area to paddle you through, and self-clean and keep grabbing new mud as it rotates. I also find that at full throttle, they don't seem to get through anything any faster. It feels like you can just kind of sit there and they just spin. As soon as you get off or rock it around or whatever, slow it down, then it starts pulling forward again. So they're not really a great tire for high horsepower, in my opinion. So I got the GoPro here. I'll give you a little closer look at the tire and the tread design. About full 10 inches wide across, nice flat profile. The lugs are, you know, like 1.25 inches. They are worn a little bit, so about 1.5 inches in the center new. And then the corner knobs are a full 2 inch or more. They are about 31, they measure, so very close to a 32, and the lugs are probably sunken into the ground a little bit, so they are really close to a 32. 2.5 inches or so of lug that goes straight down, so that's going to give you some good lateral traction side to side, trails, climbing out banks and whatnot. These are really flat pitch across, so those are going to pull you forward really hard. The lug spacing is close together, right? You're only about 2.5 inches, 3 inches at most apart, whereas let's say a sledgehammer, for instance, is 6 inches, so you're about half. So really you're almost getting twice the lugs, twice these biting edges going all the way around. But with these as well, where they do good is you have 1, 2, 3, and 4 contact patches going around every time the lug is touching the ground. So that's also going to give you a new biting surface every time one of these is touching. Let's just look at like a mud bug, for instance. 1, 2, 3, because these two are biting in the same spot. Across here is a very flat. It's really going to bite hard when it's trying to climb out holes. This is the lug that's really going to clean the mud out. And then you have this right here. So the tire rotates a couple times in the mud. All of a sudden they're caked full. Side lug actually coming all the way down to the bead. It's not much, right? It's only about 1/4 inch, but it is something. And you do have 6 of them going around each tire. So it does make a difference. It also makes the tire a little stiffer, which is nice. Like I said, it keeps it from wanting to roll off the bead so bad. They look amazing. It's actually my favorite looking tire I've had on this quad. So as I said, I had some trouble getting videos off my phone here. I did manage to get one. I had to email it and then screen record off the computer, so the quality is terrible. But it's something at least. I can just at least show kind of the Achilles tendon of these tires and how badly they cake up. That's definitely their issue, is they just don't self-clean in any thick mud. They're definitely not the tool for the job. So that hole is literally 2 minutes away from my house on a quad. That's pretty much my backyard. I've hit it 1,000 times on different machines, all different tires, whatever. And what's funny is that was actually one of the first times I've never been able to get out of it. Usually I can always go back and forth and get out the side or whatever. I did have to winch out, so kind of funny on a 32, biggest tire I've had. Basically once those things cake up, they pretty much just turn into racing slicks, and you're just trying to find traction mud with mud, so it doesn't really work. If I would have had some Outlaws on or my old sledgehammers, not going to say I would have made it, but it definitely would have had a better chance. So now guys, I don't really like to go too much into comparisons with other tires, which I've touched on before. To have an absolutely perfect scenario to directly compare is pretty much impossible, right? So I'll throw in a couple clips here, just, you know, my brother's Black Mamba Lights versus my old 29.5s. They're pretty comparable, right, for the most part. I've gotten stuck in a few holes. He's passed me, and same other way around. I've thrown in some clips of my brother's 31 Outlaws and my 32 Terms. And same deal, it'd be hard for me to say that there's places he's been able to go that I haven't. When you get into a tire this size with, you know, 1.5 inch, 2 inch lugs, they'll take you anywhere, right? Things are pretty much unstoppable. That said, I know people are going to ask, so if I had to absolutely put them on a ranking, I'd have to, as a mud tire in general, probably say the Terms are a little lower than the other competitors, like, you know, 1.5 inch lug plus pure mud tires, Silverback, Outlaw, Sledgehammer. Okay, well that seemed a little long and repetitive, but you guys made it this far. Thanks for watching. I tried to touch on everything I could think of without forgetting stuff, and I've been working on this one for a while. I've come back in and added a few things here and there, but I've got to call it good and done at some point. Overall, they've impressed me more than I thought, and this is my opinion. You guys take away from it as you will. Some people love them, some people hate them. There's lots of mixed reviews out there. If you're like me and you surf the web for used stuff and you find a good deal on them, and give her. That's what I did, and they've been great. Would I buy them again? Probably not, but that's just because I like to try them all. I'd only every one of them if I could. If you guys got any suggestions, tires you'd like to see a review on, let me know in the comments. Next up for me will probably be 32-inch silverback if I can find them, or my brother's got these 32.5 Mambas. I might see if I can snag them from him for a little while and do a review on those two. Maybe his Outlaws too, we'll see. Till next time, guys.
Me. God damn it. Fuck. Ow, ow, ow.